by design. Welcome to Throwback Thursday. This is a little weekly series designed to inspire us to dig back into our stash and use up some of the beautiful things we already have. So last week I did my first Throwback Thursday tutorial for 2023, and we started making this beautiful Prima My Sweet Slimline Accordion Folio. This has a sewing theme, which is near and dear to my heart because my mom was a seamstress, and we made the base and we made some of the inner pages. And this week we're going to finish the inside pages and we're going to decorate the cover. But I thought I'd just do another quick walkthrough of the album. It measures 4 1/4 by 8. It has a 1/2 inch spine, although I advise you to make it 3/4 of an inch or even an inch when you're doing the scoring, because it got a little chunky. But we like chunky, so it's all good. On the cover, I've created a little sewing themed collage with various charms and buttons and flowers and bits and bobs from my stash. Some of these things I don't even know where I got. I've had them for so long. But like this is from my mom's sewing machine. This is one of her old metal bobbins. You can't even get metal bobbins anymore, I don't think. So just a bunch of fun stuff that we will build together this week. And then the album opens out like this, and it's an accordion fold. So it's a super simple structural design, but it has a lot of really fun interactive pages. So last week we decorated these 2 pages with the slash pocket and these photo mats. We added this fun flip page and then a little waterfall underneath. And then underneath all of that is this beautiful image. And then we did this page that has the little flap element with a little saying here, some spools of thread and room for a photo. We did this page that has a little flip top and a little pocket with a tag and a journaling card in it. We did this page that has the flap opening with this sweet scraps. A lot of this, the thing that's beautiful about this album is that it's a great way to use up scraps because the inner pages are only 4 inches wide. So you know how you'll have like smaller scraps of good paper? This is a great way to use it up. Another little collage built down here. And then I believe we also did this page that has this little button card from the 8 by 8 and a couple of little waterfalls. So this week we're going to make this page that has this really fun W pop-up, and we're going to make this set of pages. This page is a flap page with a pull-out element, and inside we've got a photo mat and then just some pretty little pieces from the paper collection. And then this page is a flap page, and it has a twist and pop on the inside, which is really fun. So that's what we're going to work on this week, and then of course finishing off the cover. So I'm going to go ahead and get us started, and we'll finish making this My Sweet Slimline Accordion Folio. All right, so with our book folded up, this is our short flap. Open this out. And you're going to line this with 2 3 3/8 by 7 5/8 pieces of this polka dot pattern. And we're going to make a little pop-up on this page. So I have this 8 1/2 by 3 1/8 piece of my craft paper left over. I scored it right in the center at 4 1/4 and then 2 1/8 inches here. And then I flipped it into 2 1/8 inches here. So what you have is this W fold. Do you see that? It's a W fold. So we're going to take one of these folds and just notice the mountain is in the middle and it's a valley on either side. We're going to put this, line it right up in the center along our margin, and fold your little book closed. Put adhesive on this panel. Oops, don't do that. Close your flap, and press it in place. And then when you open it out, you've got this fun little pop-up. And then to line the pop-up, I cut 4 2 by 3-inch pieces of this patterned paper. So go ahead and you'll go ahead and glue that down. And then on top of those, I went into the 8 by 8 and cut out 4 of our little button cards. So these will be matted on top of the patterned paper, okay? So, and I'll do that afterwards and show you when it's all finished, but I just want to show you how to embellish this page. From my ephemera, I took this Tell Me Something Beautiful and I trimmed it out so that it is the same width as our pink paper. So actually I went 3 1/4 instead of 3 3/8. So I'm going to center this down here, make sure I'm in frame. And then I took this little rose ephemera piece and we're going to tuck it kind of back behind it like that. So just kind of stick this little end down in here and let the little leaf come up over so it looks anchored. So I've got Love This Life and I've folded it right in the middle, okay? And I've lined it up so that it's in the same spot as the fold on our panel. I'm just putting a little spot of glue on one side and then a little spot of glue on this side. And I'm going to close my panel and press it down so that this will be a pop-up. And you may have to push it over just a little bit so that you still get your pop-up, but you get the idea. So then this flower is going to go right up here like that. All right. This flower is going to, and these are all from the ephemera pack, it's going to go down here. And this last flower is going to go up here, just like this, sort of in the corner. Okay, so I'm going to glue these pieces on and then I'll come back and show you. Okay, so here you see it all finished and look how fun this is. This closes. And then when you open it, woohoo, a little pop out. Okay, so for this next page, over here on the right, you're going to cut a 6 1/2 by 7 5/8 inch piece of your patterned paper, and then you're going to score it at 2 3/4 to make this little flap page. Then this page is going to be a twist and pop page. So once again, we have 3 1/2 by 7 5/8, and I've cut one of these a 1/2 inch taller. So let me give you the measurements on that. It's right at 8 1/4. Scored a 1/2 inch and made this flap. Okay, so we have a top fold. So to make this little twist and pop mechanism, you're going to want 2 pieces of cardstock, 3 by 11. And I did 1 in pink. This is going to be the top piece, and then the craft is going to be the bottom. And for the pink piece, you're going to score it at 5 1/2. Okay, so you scored at 5 1/2. And then this right hand folds over to the fold, and the left hand folds over to the fold. And then you've got this little book that has a W fold, just like the piece that we just made. And this is going to be the piece that shows above the arm that goes below it. So this you're going to want to mat with 2 5/8 by 2 7/8 inch pieces from your scraps of your patterned paper. 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? This piece, put on your scoring tool, and 1/2 of 11 is 5 1/2. So score it this way, and then turn it, and 1/2 of 3 is 1 1/2. So score it this way. And I'm going to fold this on my scored lines. All right, and I'm going to just take a pencil so you can see it here on camera. And you won't have to do this, but right where that 5.5 is, here's a line. And where the 1.5 is, there's a line. That's our axis, all right? You're going to take a square piece of cardstock. You're going to set it inside that axis. This one is to the left. So we're going to grab the right hand leg or arm and fold it down so that the point of our chipboard is right here on the axis. Then move this to the other side, again, with the point right there in the axis and lined up nice and straight, and fold this side down into the point. You really want to make sure you're straight here, because if you're not, it kind of messes up the whole little mechanism, all right? So now we'll crease these guys. Okay, so I've got my mountain, and I'm kind of I'm pushing these legs into each other, and it's going to form this little, almost like a tent, right? One leg always comes out longer than the other. I don't know why, but it always does. So I just trim it off, okay? And you don't want to use super heavy cardstock for this. Ideally, I like 65-pound for this actually, because it scores easily, more easily and everything. So I'm going to put my adhesive right on the peak of my little tent. I'm opening my little folio that we made, and I'm lining that peak up right in the center, just at the fold. The peak is actually touching, almost touching the fold, but not quite. I'm going to push it in just a little bit more. Right, and I'm making sure I'm straight, and now I'm going to close this and press it down. Flip it over, raise this up, put your adhesive on this side of the peak, press this down. Okay, now flip it over, and you've got these little legs that go out like this. Take our little book that we made, and it's going to go in like this. This top left is going to go on the top left of the arm here, and the bottom right is going to go on the bottom right of the arm here. So I want to trim off just a little bit from the top right and a little bit from the bottom left, so the mechanism doesn't show. So, you know, you kind of got, it's like magic. So I'm going to come over about 1 inch and down about 1.5 inches with my adhesive, and I'm going to glue my top left corner right here, okay? And then I'm going to do the same thing below the fold, over about 1 inch, and down about 1.5 inches, and then glue this corner nice and straight into the fold. Okay, so now you've got this. Now close it, and it will twist on itself. Take a bone folder and burnish everything down really well, just like that. And now look, ta-da! So now you're going to cut your little panels of paper, and you're going to, your designer paper, and you're going to glue them onto the front. All right, let's finish up the inside of this little folio. I just want to show you how I finished out this little twist and pop page. I put one of our 3x4 gold foil button cards, and I trimmed memories documented to the width of the paper. And this is what it looks like on the inside. I just added some 3¼ by 5½ craft panels for photos there. So that is that. Now that brings us over here to this flap page. We're going to open this up, and I've got another 3 1/4 by 5 1/2 of our, this is like a very light craft cardstock. And that's going to go down. So we have another little photo spot in here. Or you can use it for journaling, whatever you want to do. This is going to go right here. And then on this little side flap page, oh, and then I cut out this little vintage collection, no, I'm sorry, this little button thing right here. And we're just going to glue that down so that the top is open and a picture can pop in back behind it. And I think I have some paper buttons. You can't do anything dimensional in here, but I think I have some paper buttons in my ephemera, and I may add those later. And then this goes over here on the top. This is from the ephemera pack. And this is also from the ephemera pack. And it goes down here on the bottom. So that's a pretty little page. All right, close this up. And when I cut up my journaling sheet, I left these 3 pieces together. And then I scored in between the images. And then these are going to fold in like this. I'm going to take this piece, and I'm only going to put my adhesive on the inside edge. I'm going to put this right here. All right. And then for my ephemera, I've got these sweet little butterflies, and the same thing, I'm going to put my adhesive right there. Now we've got this sweet little pull-out element. And that's all we really need to do there. This is getting pretty full. Like I said, I might add a few of the little paper buttons and hearts and things down there. So close your folio. I can see I should have gone 3/4 of an inch. It got really chunky. But we're going to use our ribbon closure. I always underestimate how much space all these little flaps and things are going to take up. And now we're going to design the cover. All right, guys, let's put this cover together. I've got a whole bunch of different stuff, and we're just going to see what works, what doesn't work. And we're going to play a little bit here. First, I want to put this doily down. I think if I use this kind of as a beginning point, it will help me figure out the rest. Oops. I want to put it right down in this corner. And then I went through my stash and I found this this is Prima. It's ancient. I mean, it's probably like 7 or 8 years old. This little crocheted thread icon is super sweet. And put that right there. And then I'm going to come in. This is an ephemera card, or maybe it's cut out. I don't know. Anyway, I put a couple of layers of chipboard on the back, and I want to tuck this in like this. And then this was an ephemera card that I just cut the corners off of to make it look like a tag. And I don't necessarily want the sentiment, I just want that cute little embroidery hoop. So I'm going to put this like this, okay? Oops. All right. Hot glue, I think, is going to work better there. All right. Then on my little sewing card, I have this little fake needle. I'm going to thread through like this. And then I'm going to follow the squiggle on the paper and glue the floss down. Let's take this little wooden sticker, tuck it in right there. Yeah, let's do that. I need some foam tab back behind that. This is another of those little Prima and let's glue our scissors down on the doily like this. Little thimble right there. Sweet little bird right here. Prima flowers and leaves. I'm just going to tuck these right in here. All right, guys, that's it. I'm not going to add any more ribbon or anything. I think it's real sweet just the way it is. There we go. Super sweet. Oh, that was fun. All right, first Throwback Thursday of 2023. We did it, finally, at long last. So that's it for me, Kathy Clement, Kathy by Design. If you haven't joined my channel yet, I would love to have you along with me in 2023. I do a Throwback Thursday project once a week, which is reaching back into our stash to use older goodies, and I do a Make and Take Tuesday, which uses newer product. So I try to cover all the bases. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and welcome to 2023, guys. Go get your craft on. Bye.